Heavenly Father, we offer you our thanksgiving. We thank you for everyone gathered here today to walk with you. May we ask you for your blessings and guidance so that the activities set for this undertaking be successful. We ask you to open our eyes to see the wonderful things from this activity. We ask that you open our ears so that we may retain the invaluable knowledge. Open our minds for us to think wisely. Put us with understanding, cooperation, and peace in fulfilling our responsibilities. Open our hearts so that we may receive your everlasting love, and open our spirit so that we may know that you are with us all throughout the day. We ask all this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Hello. Okay, before we start our pre-bidding conference, I will call the attendance first. For the Bids and Award Committee, our back chairperson, Ade Manolo B. Madrono Jr., our vice back chair, Kuya. For our back members, Maria Dolores Salazar, Elvira Fernandez, Maria Luz Branzuela, and your procurement engineer, yours truly, Sharina Batocapala. For the back secretariat members, Jerome Draki, Arnel Branzuela, Fritz Andrew Asimar, and Winmar Pelenia. For the technical working group members, Evelyn C. Mansueto, Kini Luis Mansueto, Marcelino Cortez IV, Alan M. Yaon Jr., and we have a representative here from maintenance, Danilo C. Daan, for the, so wala po tayong, ano yun, for contractors, so via online na lang sila.
Alright, so good afternoon. Before we start, let me just cite something. This project 24HH0117 has a correction in the contract name. So this will reflect on the issued bid bulletin by the planning. So for now, Engineer Danilo Daan will explain further the scope of this project. Go ahead, Engineer.
Good afternoon, everyone. Presenting Herwin for this pre-bid session is the project title, Repair and Maintenance of Butuanon River, Revetment 12, Barangay Pulangbato, Cebu City. The project has 92 calendar days duration with total length of 30.3 meters. This structure is with this revetment structure with sheet piles. Sheet piles design is Z-type. Also at 30.3 meter span. And now at the first plan, our location plan of the structure at Pulangbato, Barangay Pulangbato, Cebu City. The structure is a right side river bank from Kandarong Bridge, around 170 meters downstream, start of the project. And here goes the summary of quantities. We have 12 items of work with corresponding quantities. With corresponding, the first one is provision of combined field office, laboratory and living quarters building for the engineer, rental base with 3.07 land. Item E1.1, that's 15, operation and maintenance of the temporary field office, laboratory and living quarters building for the engineers. Item number B3, permits and clearances. B5, project billboards, signboards. B7, parenthesis 2, occupational safety and health program. B9, mobilization and demobilization. B15, parenthesis 1, detour and access road. We have also 902, parenthesis 1, that's A1, reinforcing steel, deform, grade 40, with total of 1,613 kilograms. Item 900, parenthesis 1, the C, structural concrete, 3,000 PSI, class A, 28 days, total of 42 cubic meter quantities. Item number 1705, parenthesis 1, we have fill and backfill. 83 with 83 cubic meters. Item 1716, that's parenthesis 6 is A, structural steel, sheet piles, furnish. 17, total of 234 meters. Also we have 17, 16, parenthesis 12, structural steel sheet piles, driven with 234 meters. That's the summary of quantities. The next is we have the typical river cross section facing downstream. We have here the cross section detail of the coping beam, cope with sheet piles, coping beam. Then the coping beam is reinforced concrete. Also with the berm with structural reinforced concrete then. In case of the berm is the embankment. Embankment as per on the cross-section data, we have computed the total volume of the embankment, the fill and backfill. And next, I think we have here also the detail of the bar bending diagram, plan view, isometric view of the project. Next, we have the Z-type connection detail of the sheet piles, spot detail, butt winding, solid spout. butt welding sheet piles, splicing of sheet piles using plates, butt welding sheet piles, and the last one is the detail of the project billboards and COA billboards. That's all. Thank you.
Right, so thank you, Engineer Dan. So, are there any questions from the online observers? So, I think there's none. So, our pre-bid conference for this afternoon is now adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone.
Okay. Before we adjourn, online viewers, please listen to some reminders during some documents, requirements during the bidding conference. So take it away, Joshua.
Good morning once again for the additional information for the bidders. For the documents to be submitted, these following requirements will be discussed in the preparation of the documents sourced for the technical proposal. The basic eligibility requirement during the submission of bids in the field job certificate of registration and membership must be current and updated in accordance with the provisions of the IRR. And its registration is proper and relevant to the particular type of procurement. In lieu of the Class A eligibility documents uploaded and maintained current and updated in the field jobs. Bidders are required to submit their field jobs certificate of registration during bid submission. Next, if a bidder is not enrolled in CWA, the bidder must attach validated pickup license and registration statement of all ongoing and completed government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started, whether or not similar in nature and complexity to the contract to be bid, within the period provided in the bidding documents, given emphasis as per Department Order number 36 series of 2615. For this, strong emphasis is given to this matter since this will be strictly revalidated and checked upon during the detailed bid evaluation. Non-compliance of this is subjected for sanction for DEO number 17 series of 2015 under the 3-strike policy report. Next, statement of single largest completed contract or SLCC similar to the contract to be bid at least 50% of the ABC. Net financial contracting capacity or NFCC computation and statement of total assets and liabilities. Next is the MEOS permit or business permit must be present, tax clearance, audited financial statement, duly received by BIR at least 2 years from bidding date, income tax return or IPR. Next is for DTI for sole proprietorship and CDA for cooperatives. For a corporation, there should be a secretary's certificate or board resolution duly notarized indicating the authorized and designated signing official. Next, JVA, if applicable, which requires special pickup license and registration with percentage of 2 contractors. For the bid security, the contractor can choose among the applicable forms of bid security, which the duration is 120 calendar days per RA 9184. The bidder shall submit a bid security declaration or any form of bid security in an amount not less than the required percentage of the ABC in accordance with the following schedule. Cash or cashier's check issued by the Universal of Commercial Bank, which is 2%. Bank draft guarantee or a revocable letter of credit issued by Universal be confirmed and authenticated by a universal or commercial bank if issued by a foreign bank, which is 2% surety bond upon demand issued by a surety or insurance company duly certified by the Insurance Commission as authorized to issue such security, which is 5%. Any discrepancy in the amount even a centavo means non-compliant. If the validated exceeds 120 calendar days, the contractor should renew and submit a new bid securing declaration or BSD, considering that all legal, technical, and financial documents should still be valid during award. Number 4, bid security in prescribed form for the amount and validity period. For project requirements, the bidders should attach the organizational chart for the contract to be bid, including the list of contractors' key personnel to be assigned to the contract with their complete qualification data and affidavit of commitment to work on the project of the contractor's key technical personnel, which there must be no duplication of key functions wherein assignments of several projects of key personnel is strongly discouraged because it was found out that some contractors have one project engineer with multiple ongoing contract projects. The 5 key technical personnel must have experience similar to the contract project to be bid at least 50% of ABC, or as follows: project manager is not necessary a licensed civil engineer. However, the experience should have minimum of 5 years experience of same position and 3 years experience of similar position. Project engineer must be duly licensed civil engineer, should be current and updated with minimum of 5 years experience of same position, 3 years experience of similar position. For the materials engineer, must be a licensed civil engineer with minimum of 5 years experience of same position, 3 years experience of similar position, duly DPWH accredited materials and quality control engineer. Foreman with minimum of 5 years experience of same position and 2 years experience of similar position. For the safety and health officer with a certificate duly accredited by DOLE as safety officer. The bidder should have a safety officer 3 or SO3 regardless of amount and category, wherein the requirements and appointment, designation, and job description as safety officer. If the company doesn't have a safety officer, they should attach a pledge of commitment to undertake trainings for 48 hours. Additional info, they were advised not to manufacture the experience of their key technical personnel just to suit the requirements. All the licenses and credentials of the key technical personnel must be current and updated. These attachments should be visible and have a clear copy. The BAC advised that the pledged project engineer for the project should not be conflicting with other projects, considering that the supervision will be difficult, and this is one of the reasons that will cause negative slippage. A project engineer can handle within the same jurisdiction but outside is quite questionable for his capacity to supervise. List of contractors, major construction, and lab equipment units owned, leased, or under purchase agreements must be supported by proof of ownership or lease or purchase and certification of availability of equipment from lessor vendor for project duration. Certification of minimum laboratory equipment duly certified by any DPWH office as per DEO number 80 series of 1990 and reiterated for strict compliance as per DEO number 138 series of 2015, DEO 11 series of 2017 to ensure that the said certification is current and updated, which has only 1 year validity and still subject for post-qualification. Construction Safety and Health Program for DEO 129 Series of 2014. The preparation of the Safety and Health Program is component of the technical proposal as per department order, of which the limitation is one safety officer within limited jurisdiction on the limits not exceeding 50 million. However, per project must have one first aider, and it is not necessarily approved considering that this will be resubmitted if they will be awarded with the project. The compliance of Construction Safety and Health is now a law as per Republic Act 11058 dated August 2018. The safety officer 3 should be on site since this is one of the requirements during inspection of the personnel from DOLE. There will be a penalty if the safety officer is not around during the inspection of DOLE. The company should also conduct monthly, quarterly, yearly report as one of the OSH requirement in construction industry. The bidders were advised to prepare their own construction safety and health program. For the omnibus sworn statement in the form, the omnibus sworn statement has 9 items. They should comply with a standard form wherein, in the absence of one item, it will be rated as failed. For the affidavit of site inspection, inspection of the project site is encouraged in order to validate the site prior to dropping of bids to avoid future problem, because the contractor has the responsibility to complete the project once awarded to them. For the financial proposal, this must be included also the bid form, the bid prices in the bill of quantities, detailed estimates including a summary sheet indicating the unit prices of construction materials, labor rates, and equipment rentals used in coming up with the bid. So mana ang dapat sa inyong detail mo na agad na diha ang materials, ang labor o ang material. Ang lamsam na to, no? Mana atong gikuan po before, di mo malikayan ang lamsam, no? Kay per item na aman ang lamsam. Usually na sa mga building mga projects, maka-dool lang din mo sa planning, pwede mo maayo o breakdown sa lamsam, no? For kuan po na siya for smooth implementation sa project, no? So makaduol ka din mo kay suot sa lamsam, kaya di man para sa ubang item na per square na anadayo, no? Kay per square man lamsam, compromise pa nagdaghan kay materials. So quarterly, monthly cash flow and payment schedule must be present also in the financial proposal. Failure to attach any requirement or any missing, incomplete, or patently insufficient documents in the above mentioned is a ground for outright rejection for the bid and will fall as non-compliant. All documents to be submitted must be current and updated, otherwise it will be rated as failed. The technical and financial proposal must be in A4 size, manatong standard sa atong bid documents, well paginated with duly authorized signatures and book-bounded to avoid insertion. Further, the authorized licensing officer will be the one to drop the bids. The bidders will also advised to be responsible to their bid submitted in accordance with the checklist, and their technical and financial proposals should have proper pagination based on the number or order in the checklist, including proper sequencing of documents. Their submitted documents should be done accordingly. If the legal A documents are attached, much better. However, if the documents are expired, attach receipt of proof that the renewal is on process. The bid documents of the bidders must follow the completeness of the bid, both in form and substance. The bidders were advised not to recycle legal documents of documents attached in the previous submission of bids which have signatures and countersigns of the back members. It must be all original signatures attesting certified copies. Affidavits must be original signature. For the joint venture, Whatever guidelines complied by one bidder should also be complied by the other bidder. For example, if one has a PhilJEPS registration, then the other one should also attach their PhilJEPS registration. Leaving blanks on the bid proposal for a unit bid price of total cost per item is considered failed, except indicated as zero, or which is understood as free to the government. Bidders with lowest bid during the opening of bid is not a guarantee to be awarded. Why? Kay subject for evaluation pa man ang inyong bidrop. All bid documents are still subject for bid evaluation and post-qualification prior to be declared as lowest calculated responsive bid and subsequently to be awarded for the contract. The bidders are given 3 days upon bidding for file for a motion for reconsideration. The BAC emphasized on the deadline of the receipt by the BAC of bids, which is 10 a.m. only, as stipulated in the invitation of bid. Kung mulapas na sa 10 a.m., so dili mo makadrop ang bidders. No, ato din yung District 2 maayo, i-close na ito ang atong hagdanan din beyond 10 a.m. in the morning. For the criteria and procedure for eligibility check, preliminary examination of bids, detailed evaluation of bids, post-qualification and award, the BAC will determine the eligibility of the bidders based on the PhilJEPS registration of their legal aid documents, which should be maintained current and updated, including that of the Civil Works application or the CWA, which focuses on the NFCC work experience of single largest completed contract, similar to the contract project for bidding at hand. The BAC will ascertain based on the checklist of the required documents to be submitted using pass or fail criterion during the preliminary and detailed bid evaluation. In addition, after the opening of bids as per 2016 revised implementing rules and regulation under section 32.2, the BAC will conduct a detailed bid evaluation of all the bids using non-discretionary criteria wherein it requires the completeness of bid. Bids need addressing or providing all the required items in the bidding documents, including, where applicable, bill of quantities, shall be considered non-responsive and thus automatically disqualified. In this regard, where a required item is provided but no price is indicated, the same shall be considered as not responsive. But specifying a zero or a dash for the said item would mean that it is being offered for free of the government, except those required by law or regulations to be provided for. In case of discrepancies between bid prices and figures and in words, the latter shall prevail, no? Ang words ang prevail. Total price per item and unit price for the item as extended or multiplied by the quantity of that item. Unit cost in the detailed estimate and unit cost in the bill of quantities, the same will be applied to the detailed checking evaluation of the technical. The same will be applied no sa katong checking evaluation of the proposal. When the bidder rated as the lowest calculated bidder will undergo post-qualification. Once post-qualified, the bidder will be determined as lowest calculated responsive bid and subsequently to be awarded for the contract. All bidders are of equal footing thereby. Bidders are advised to include all taxes, other fiscal and duties as mandated by law in all items of work which details are shown in the detailed estimates. So the post-qualification, the bidders were advised to read Department Order number 127, Series 2018, and other issuances relative to this matter, since the BAC will be very keen and strict on the conduct of post-qualification process, considering that the concerned officials or employees, including the concerned BAC members, will be liable to the administrative penalties if this directive will not be followed. As per DO number 127, the contractor will not be awarded with a certain project if it has a negative slippage of at least 15% in a single contract or at least 10% in 2 or more contracts. During post-qualification, even though the contractor is the lowest bidder, still it is subject for further verification to ensure the compliance of the requirements of the contract. With that, the office will be sending a letter being the lowest calculated bid, which within 5 days from the receipt of notice, the bidder must submit the latest income and business tax return and other appropriate licenses, permits, and other legal documents required and stated in the bidding document and as stipulated in the said communication. If not complied within 5 days, the next calculated lowest bidder will be notified. So, you're only given 5 days. No? On the other hand, the office will be sending a letter of inquiry on the committed failure on the bidding at hand. Thus, this communication must be acted upon the contractor on the required time frame. Otherwise, without action taken, it will be relatively resort to sanction, which will fall in the three-strike policy, which a tantamount of blacklisting, suspension of the contractor. If the bidder will commit 3 mistakes in a year, then they will be recommended for further sanctions. Moreover, the qualification and experience of the key technical personnel is subject for verification as part of the post-qualification process. They are allowed to replace their key personnel technical, which they have to write a letter 14 days prior to the proposed replacement duly approved by the HOPE of the office. The BAC will be strict on the compliance of the equipment as part of post-qualification. It is stated as per DO number 127 series 2018. The contractor can attach in the proposal the list of equipment or agreement to purchase or proposal to rent or agreement on the delivery of the equipment so that the contractor will be assessed as compliant in terms of equipment requirement. The OR and CR must be present, no? Also, it must be current and updated, not expired. The equipment should be calibrated and done, accredited, and the registration should be current and updated. Whatever is stipulated in the BDS should be followed. An inspection will be conducted and the verification of equipment during other documents to be evaluated. Also, to be verified during post-qualification is the set of equipment pledged by the bidder. The bidder should in the submitted bid location of the equipment where they can be inspected. Ang atong DWG members can inspect din sa inyong equipment pledge, no? If any piece of equipment is not in the specified location, then the bidder shall be post-disqualified as per Department Order Number 9, Series of 2012. 10 calendar days upon receipt of the NOA or Notice of Award, the contractor must comply the following. Notice of Award with the bidders signed for a joint venture, contractor's PCAB license, special joint venture license, and joint venture agreement. Performance security in any of the forms specified in the instruction of bidders. The performance security shall be in the amount not less than the required percentage of the total contract price in accordance with the following schedule. Cash or cashier's manager's check issued by Universal or Commercial Bank, which is 10%. Bank draft or guarantee or a revocable letter of credit issued by Universal or Commercial Bank provided, however, that it shall be confirmed or authenticated by a Universal or Commercial Bank if issued by a foreign bank, which is 10%. Surety bond callable upon demand issued by a surety or insurance company duly certified by the Insurance Commission as authorized to issue such security, which is 30%. No? So, sa inyong construction methods, kailangan po tayo form. No, following to sa form. Ang construction schedule in the form of CPM diagram or precedence diagram and bar chart with S-curve, cash flow. Contractors all risk insurance or carry to be submitted during the period required on the submission of the required documents in the award of contract. However, the effective date is on the effectivity of the contract. Latest income tax and business returns duly stamped and received by BIR and duly validated with the tax payments made. Tax clearance from the BIR to prove full and timely payment of taxes. For a local contractor, certification under oath stating that the contractor is free and clean of all tax liabilities. For a foreign bidder, for the summary.
Okay, so that ends our voiceover with respect to the additional requirements during the bidding conference. So, online viewers, please take note. And for those who have further inquiries with respect to the project to be bid out, just approach the maintenance section. So, thank you very much. Good afternoon once again.